address a question that came up on one of my last videos about what exactly is the inside side of the ball and what am I referring to. And then I'm going to introduce you to a new concept with the forehand, and it's something I call before and after, and it has to do with the anatomy of the ball bounce. Before the peak, after the peak, there is a particular swing path that we need to take depending on where it is in the phase of that ball bounce. So I'll look at that. I have a student with me. I have Macario. He's going to help me out. High level player, lots of heavy topspin. This is going to be important because as he's running down balls, making the correct selection of your swing path, depending on where the ball is in its phase, is really related to the success of your shot. But let me explain first what the inside side of the ball is. Let's take a look at that. Okay, we won't spend much time on this, but it is really important for consistency and for getting the ball in the correct zone for your strike. Now, on this portion of the ball that I have to demonstrate with, I've got a little dot, and that's going to represent the inside side of the ball. So most sports, when we're playing, if we're playing baseball, basketball, volleyball, we use our body to line up with the ball. It helps us as a guide to line up when we're receiving it. Soccer as well. But in tennis, we need to be looking and tracking with our eyes for the inside side of the ball. If you don't see it, you're not far enough away from the ball to make the correct ball strike. If it's coming to you and your eyes are looking at the inside side and you begin to see the inside side of the ball now is close enough to you for your strike, and it is also far enough away from you that you're not jammed. You're jammed if it's right up against your body or it's too close to you. You can't exactly see it, it's too late. Out here, you're going to be able to see it. I'm going to have Macario. This is Macario. I'm just going to hand feed him a couple balls just for the demonstration. Have him hit some forehands over here. And what I want you to notice is that he's tracking the ball. He's looking at the inside side of the ball as he's striking. And we're going to look at the pace of the ball rule. I'm just hand feeding him very soft balls. This is just a quick warm up for him before we go forward and we talk about befores and afters and what exactly that is. All right, let's take a look. So get that racket out early. That's better. Out early. The inside side of the ball you're looking at. Very nice. Very nice. Very inside side of the ball. Consistent in your strike. Two back swings, shake the hand around. That's very nice. So there's an important point. There's an important point we need to make with the inside side of the ball that is really handy when you're running down a ball at the net and you want to be aggressive. What usually happens is we're coming down and we believe we are close enough to the ball that we can strike it, and it's still too far out in front. By using the inside side of the ball, I know that I'm there before I make my strike. If I don't see the inside side of the ball as I'm charging up to it, I'm still too far away. Maybe I need to change my grip to continental so I can reach it. But if I can see the inside side of the ball, I'm in a good position where I can make that strike. So as I'm coming forward, that's a really good application for the inside side of the ball technique. I'm in and I can strike. All right, we're gonna move forward. We're gonna be talking about befores and afters. And what does that mean? Well, you've probably heard from your coach as you're taking lessons about taking the ball on the rise. Well, the rise, in the anatomy of the ball bounce, the ball strikes the ground, it comes up, it peaks, and then it falls again. So if I'm taking it on the rise, it's as it's coming up before that peak or at that peak. And then the next phase would be as it's dropping, We're going to call that after. So I've changed how I define it. I call it befores and afters. This is why. On a ball that is coming up from the ground and it's coming up before the peak, we're going to say before. My ball strike with my racket must be much more cross and linear. If I'm catching it before the peak and I'm coming low to high, oh, this is where I flub it. We get into a habit of using low to high for everything. When the ball is bouncing and I'm catching it as a before the peak, my racket swing needs to be straight across. Still slightly below coming up, but for the most part, let's define it as a much more straight across shot. After the peak, it's falling back down to ground. I need to be below it and come up. On the contrary, if it's after the peak and it's falling and I go straight across, it's going to go down to the ground. Let's review. Before the peak, my swing path is more straight across. After the peak, it's come up, it's falling, I have to be low to high, much more for the success. If I'm not, I might make it, but my shot is going to be much more out of control. I'll give you a quick little demonstration also at the net. This is a good time to do this. I'm going to turn you here. You can see me here. As I toss the ball up to myself, if I'm taking the ball on the rise, my racket is for the most part straight across. If I toss it and it's peaked and it's falling, I need to be coming from low to high. We're going to call those befores and afters. Before the peak, after the peak. And if I program that into my head that every time I say before, I just associate that with a straight across swing. If I program in my head after the peak, I'm basically programming myself to say low to high, low to high. All right, I'm gonna do my best to return some of Macario's balls. He hits pretty hard and heavy with that topspin, but I'll try to announce whether I'm taking it as a before or an after, and you can kind of maybe get a sense of what that looks like. Well, let me feed him here. So I'm taking that as a before. And not too hard, face of the ball. After, I'm going to let that dry. Good, before, we went straight across. I'm missing that one. Here we go. Backswing, back. Good, before. Here we go. Woo. Before, I'm coming straight across. Before, I'm coming straight across. Good. Before, I'm coming straight across. After, I'm coming low to high. After, I'm coming low to high. Ooh, good one. Before, I'm coming straight across. Ah, that's a good shot. Very nice. So I'm hoping you can catch that there's a different swing path there, especially if you get a heavy ball coming, you make that decision early. Associate befores, straight across. After the peak and it's falling, low to high. Before. Good. I'm taking this as an after. I'm letting it fall and I'm coming from low to high. Good, Macario. Here we go. Okay, I'm taking it as an after. Before.
How you doing, Adam?
Ah, sorry about that one.
How you doing, Adam?
Hey, Vince. Hey, how are you?
I didn't recognize you over there. You look faster.
Thanks. I need that. Much better. Before, after. Sorry. After, I'm going to let it drop and come in. Good. After, I'm letting it drop and come in. Before, I'm going to take it straight across. So here you go. Tell yourself before or after. Before the peak, straight across. After the peak, low to high. Low to high. Low to high. Good. Here we go. Good. Low to high. Wait for peaks. Almost. Low to high. I'm coming after the peak. After the peak. I'm letting it drop and come down, so it's an after. After again. Now I'm going to take it as a drive. Oh, and it was too low for me. A little bit far and out. So on the rise, straight across. Oh. Waste of a ball. Here we go. Very good. Before, straight across. Before, if I can get it. That's the swing path. You gotta bend those knees to get down. After, low to high. After, low to high. I can step in, take it as a before. Before. Ah, nice deep end. Very nice. I can make the decision to move forward to take it as a before, where I'm doing straight across. That is taking it on the rise. I can wait, let it peak and drop. I need to take it as an after, low to high. Sorry. After. Good. Before. Ah, nice shot. Push me way back. Say it in your mind. Before or after. Here we go. Before. Before. Good. After. After. Oh, and overhit. You can see though how much more consistent the ball strike is, even though I overhit that last one. Just understanding the swing path. Afters, low to high. Befores, straight across. Good. Pushing him back with that top spin. Nice. After. After. Nice. Here we go. Very good. Nice. Before. Straight across. Good. Oh, nice on the cardio. It's becoming more instinctive. That looked really good. Here I am teaching this and I get it mixed up befores and afters. I'm concentrating too much. Hopefully I've said this correctly so you can enjoy it on the video. Anatomy of the ball bounce, it hits the ground, it comes up. That's before the peak to the peak, straight across. After the peak it's dropping, low to high. I'll just keep saying it over and over again. So, before, after. I'm gonna let it drop. Before, good. If I didn't take that as a before the peak and go straight across and try to do low to high, I would have missed that entirely. The swing path is critical for the anatomy of the ball bounce. After. Before. Oh, you got me. I was undecided. Very nice. I like that racket position. Here we go. Before, straight across. I'll slow it down. Before, straight across. After on the backhand. Before, straight across. Out. Here we go. Good. Straight across. Before. Before the peak. Straight across. Almost. Almost. Here's an interesting point. If I'm looking for confirmation that I'm hitting hard, I'm hitting way too hard. On that side, it is coming at Macario really hard and fast. If I can see it going hard and fast, it is probably too much out of control. After. You really have to be below. Whew. Oh, nice try. That was a great strike. You got to see it. Correct. So if I hit you short, you've got to see the inside side of the ball before you strike that. Correct. We miss it because we end up short. Correct. Can you get there in time to go straight across? Take it as a before. That's it. As long as you're catching it at the peak or before the peak. Yes, and you have to see the inside side of the ball. If it drops below that peak, you're not going to have the same. You have to come from low to high. Correct. This one you might not make. So you've got to be low to high. That's it. You still got there. That was a nice shot. Say it in your mind. Before the peak, straight across. After the peak, low to high. Connect that. Good. That's a dead ball. We try to use new balls as much as we can because if I come out with my students with old balls, they're going to go out and play a match, open up a new can, and the bounce is going to be 1,000% different. You have to use new balls as a coach consistently. Every 2 weeks, you should have at least 3 boxes of new balls out here in your cart. Here we go. Good. Before I'm going, I hit that way too hard. After, low to high. Good. Here we go. Oh, take it. Here we go. Dead ball, dead ball. Pop that. All right, here we go. A couple more. Flatten that racket out a little more instead of holding it up. So let that wrist relax. Extend the index finger, and that might get it out a little bit more. Remember, 2 backswings. 2 backswings. Correct. Do it again. 2 backswings. Correct. Almost. Pace of the ball rule. There wasn't a lot on that. Nice. After. Before, I'm going straight across. Before, I'm going straight across. Nice. Good shot. Inside side of the ball you're looking for before you hit. Nice. I can always go softer. If he's hitting hard enough balls that I'm feeling under pressure, I don't want to compete with that and hit a hard ball back. I can always do less. Same pace or less. Nice. Here we go. Watch that spin. You got to get there. Again. Oh, that was a great looking slide. Same concept, befores and afters on the backhand, same thing. Good. Still a little high on it. You level or slightly below for the straight across. Yep, straight across. Something too. The grip matches the pace. If you go to my blog, you can find this. You really need to look at your opponent. If they're not hitting aggressive, you shouldn't be using an aggressive grip. You're going to get frustrated and overhit and miss. The pace of the ball kind of dictates that. You could use it for a lot of spin if you got somebody who's just blocking balls back, but if you go aggressive, your air potential goes way up. Straight across. Straight across. Ah, it's a tough one. You got me too. It's really deep. Here we go. Low to high. Nice try. On the back end, it's tough. Sometimes you don't want to follow through on that. It's more of a block. Don't follow through. Good. A little deeper for you. Right. Don't follow through. Stop where you want it to go. Yes. Stop where you want it to go. When you're in trouble on that deep one in your backhand. Good. That's better. Correct. Don't overhit. These are deep. Ah, mine was too deep. Change the stroke depending on the anatomy of the ball bounce. Okay, here we go. One more time. 2 backswings straight across. Hey, continental on that. Wow, nice rally. Oh, nice try. Last ball here. Four. There's my attacking ball. 4. Nice job. Really good hitting. All right, I hope you enjoy that. There's a lot to absorb. Go back and watch it a few times. Anatomy of the ball bounce, hits the ground, comes up, it peaks, it drops, it falls. We're gonna call that before the peak, after the peak. The path of your racket as it's going up to the peak is straight across. After the peak and it's falling, low to high. And then you're observing the ball from the inside side of the ball to keep the exact same distance every time away from you and the exact same distance in front of you before you strike the ball. All right, ask me questions on that. I'm sure it's a little bit confusing. Give it a try if you can and let me know how that goes.